Hey everybody, welcome back. It's Business, and it's time for another episode of Ships and Giggles. It's going to be pretty much all over the place on this one. Some Scharnhorst matches, and I've got the Kniza now. I've been playing the hell out of that. And I got the Bismarck. Holy crap, I had some balls to the wall type of matches with that. Wait until you see some of those. But in this one, I'm in the Scharnhorst, and there's an enemy Hatsuharu here who decides to pop out and dump some torps at me. Or I'm sorry, Batsuki. My apologies. I'm telling you, this preview window is just so low resolution and I can't change it. But he launches his torps, of course. They're so damn slow. And unfortunately, with the announced changes coming up to the Japanese destroyer line, I can't review any of the destroyers anymore. Not with the Japanese line, because I had the Mitsuki review actually not ready to go, but I had most of the structure established, and I had a number of clips, and now I just have to wait and see, because it's going to change for that. As you can see here, the Mitsuki is hiding behind the island. Doesn't really matter against this ship, because it's so damn fast, and I've got the guns ready to go. Secondaries get involved too. Devastating strike. Oh, that felt good. Actually, speaking of the Mitsuki, I did have that overview ready to go. I was just waiting to do some of the narration for it and have that posted up, but then they announced the changes to the Japanese destroyer line, and unfortunately I didn't want to make a video, put the time and effort into it for it to be relevant for a week, 2 weeks. I mean, I don't know when the hell that's going to happen, of course, but yeah, so that kind of sucks. But and no, I can't comment on anything about the whole destroyer line split. I'm just not going to bother. You know, there are some limitations, I suppose, with being the super tester, as far as I would love to talk about it with you guys, but I really can't. So I launch HE at the Nuremberg here. I've got Freyr sending his AP right in after it and knocks him out completely. Königsberg, I still have HE loaded because I'm expecting to run into a destroyer, but the HE does a pretty good job. So about 7,000 damage. I mean, no, it's not AP. I'm not getting citadels. Whatever, it's fine. I still did some damage to him. And the AP at this point, and this is from August 15th, so this is one of my earlier games with the Scharnhorst, wasn't really being very reliable for me this match and the previous match as well, but you know, I was just trying to get a feel for the ship initially. But now we see that there's a 3x2 set of torpedoes, and the only destroyer remaining on the enemy team is a Minakaze, so pretty obvious where he is. So turn my bow towards him, and it's time for me to start engaging the enemy New Mexico. I gotta say, one thing that's kind of curious about playing the Scharnhorst and the Kniza now is that I find myself, after playing them and playing another ship, I fall into the trap of being too comfortable with showing my broadside, and that's something I really gotta snap out of, because amazingly enough, the Bismarck is not nearly as well armored as a Scharnhorst. You know, it's just, yeah, that's how that is. And that may be kind of crappy to a bunch of you, or maybe that's awesome. I have no idea. To me, it's just, it is what it is. And you know, the Kniza now has the same armor setup. You know, they're incredibly powerful ships. And just to go ahead and launch my port side torps randomly towards this Minakaze, I destroyed one of his torpedo launchers, so he's only down to 2, which is really good, of course. But you know, when it comes to those ships, though, I've played the hell out of them. I've probably played 50-some matches between the 3 of them. Booyah! 50-some matches between the 3 of them in the last 4 sessions or something like that. I've just been playing them like crazy, and wait till you guys see some of the matches I've had in the Bismarck. Wow. Yeah. It's kind of tough to talk about because the losses are still fresh in my mind, but a pair of losses tonight that I had with 180,000 plus damage, 200 plus secondary hits, with a total of, between just the 2 matches, 110,000 damage from secondary hits and fires from secondaries. And yeah, lost them both. It sucks, but you know, it happens. So let's talk about something that came up in a recent Jingles video. And all due respect to Jingles, he was talking about this replay where an Udaloy which is the person who sent in the replay, and Udaloi was bow forward to a Yamato. The Yamato turned and fired immediately at him from range, and he missed, but the overall effect in the video was that Jingles was saying, he was laughing at him, being like, I bet he's getting a caning or whatever, a stern talking to from his teammates for firing AP. Well, why? I left a comment in there and it explained, my perspective on it, and I just wanted to kind of discuss that here because it seems like a lot of people still don't understand how AP works and how HE works as far as interacting with destroyers from a battleship. I used to be of the constitution that HE was the best choice, and I've certainly changed my tune. I even recommended that in the AP and HE guide from a long time ago, but that was also before I had a situation on Two Brothers where in my New Mexico against a Mitsuki, I lost the match because I had 4 HE shells hit for no damage at all. They did module damage, and that's the last thing I need, because I need to just get rid of the goddamn ship I'm shooting at. So that's why I started to switch to AP. Now look at that dispersion. Colorado. Oh, why do you do this to me? Because the next match, I did like 46,000 with like, what was it? I had 53 hits for 46,000 damage? Yeah. And look at that. That was perfect. Both Frere and I came up short against that guy, but whatever. Anyways, there are situations and scenarios that kind of favor one or the other, of course. And that's the thing, is there's no actual hardline rule for anything. And you're going to see, this is a great example. That's a Tashkent, and he's going to go behind this island. And I know I'm going to engage this guy, and we're live on stream, got the guys in TeamSpeak and everything, and I call out that I'm going to kill this guy with a devastating strike. So here he comes. I've got my AP ready, loaded, and what he's going to do here is turn to his right, and that allows my shells to go right through to the center part of the ship down at the bottom. And if you take a look at the armor viewer, if you remove all the the top layers of armor, you'll see how deep into the water the model actually goes, and that's where you're trying to hit. And that's where you're going to do the penetrating damage, not just the overpen, because overpen, you're more likely to get overpen damage when a destroyer is broadside to you. When they turn and the ship has all this length for the shell to travel through, you're going to have a much higher chance of doing penetrating damage. And that's the interesting part of destroyer versus battleship gameplay, and why when you see me playing a destroyer and I'm going bow forward at somebody, I am really, really testing my luck, because just one shell, say that Yamato went ahead and managed a shell hit, just a single shell hit on the Udaloi while he was bow forward, and it did penetrating damage. That would have been 4,838 damage just from one shell. And if he hit with anything else, great, that would be even more damage. If he didn't hit with anything else, that's still 25% of the damn Udaloi's health. I mean, that's huge. That makes the Udaloi reassess his situation and whatnot. And the other part of it too was that the Yamato had the AP loaded. It was like a kind of like a reflex fire. Like, he switched targets right to the Udaloi and dumped his shells. And you fire what you have regardless, because a destroyer is going to take hopefully damage, and especially when they haven't been touched, like in that case the Udaloi hadn't really taken too much damage at all. Certainly wouldn't have been oversaturated, but I mean, my god, what is it, the Yamato damage is over like 7,000 with HE. I mean, you just get one shell hit on there and that's nasty, but you get an AP shell hit and there's a huge amount of potential for damage there. But again, there are situations like the Scharnhorst, for instance. The AP on this sucks against destroyers, but it can overmatch the bows, and that's something that with some of the other higher tier destroyers, you don't really get that too much with the AP, with the 203s, but having 283mm, you can punch right through that and potentially knock them right out if they're coming right at you. So that's worth something. But HE generally is going to be the better option, because you just don't know what you're going to get with the AP on this. You know, there's been too many times already where I've had AP loaded and I just dumped it and only ended up with, you know, 760 damage. And that sucks, you know, when you really need to get a kill on the given ship, because the AP overpen damage on this is just too low. But again, remember, it's 10% of the max shell damage, and the higher the caliber, the more worthwhile it actually is. So, you see that Scharnhorst over there that's moving up the 8 line? Well, I'm not sure if anybody paid attention, but if you looked in the bottom right, where that Cleveland is on the minimap, there's 4 gray cruisers that went after this guy after he charged down from the 8 line, and they all died, and now he's turning back to go back to his base. This ship is just ridiculously capable, and I don't know how many of those ships actually had torps either, but my god, I just, that cracked me up. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me, this ship is just nuts. And again, this is one of my first days of playing it too. And also, because this has come up over the course of the discussion about AP versus HE, the merits of both, one of the things that HE has over AP is, god, it's a pain in the ass going through all these acronyms, is that it has the chance of detonation. And I can agree with that, but if that's your sole reason for using HE over AP, you're probably doing it wrong, and frankly, you're fucked if that's what you're relying upon to save you in a situation where you could have killed him with AP. So, just food for thought, because I can't think of a flimsier argument for, between, you know, AP and HE from a battleship against a destroyer. And yeah, honestly, there are probably a lot of other things you can improve if that's actually what you're relying on. So let's switch it up to the Admiral Hipper. And I'm gonna just say this now. No, I'm never gonna buy the Prince of Eugen. I have no reason to play it whatsoever. It does not offer nearly enough to be different from the Admiral Hipper as it is. If it had a 10-second reload, actually, I would definitely consider it. If it had better armor, certainly. But, you know, it doesn't sound like much, just going from, you know, 12, 13 seconds or whatever down to 10 seconds for reload, but that would actually make the ship a hell of a lot more viable against destroyers, which I could say right now, it's not. It is nowhere near good enough to be able to dissuade enemy destroyers from coming after the ships that you're next to, or like you're escorting or whatever the hell. But yeah, the Hipper's a real mixed bag for me so far. I really love the AP performance when I actually have a proper angle to do something against, but the thing is, for the national flavor of the Germans to be AP, they should have higher normalization, and they don't. And they just don't have the HE performance to be able to back up the AP when the AP is no longer usable, such as bow forward situations or like excessively heavily armored targets, that sort of thing. And that kind of sucks. So like that would, I would really hope that they would take a look at that again and just kind of see what they could do to kind of help the German AP out a little bit, because I really think they're the ones that have suffered the most with the recent changes overall to the game. But as far as cruisers are concerned. So now the Bayern, I'm pushing in here because I smell blood in the water. Got the Bayern off to my left, the Koenig on my right. I got the torps for both sides going, and I'm engaging forward with the Fuso here with my front turrets. Now, the reason I'm doing this is because, why not? We had a 200-point lead, and I'm trying to go for a double strike here on the Fuso. Still got the torps going on the Koenig there. I've got the Miyoko in the back that's assaulting me as well. My torps find the target on the Koenig for a devastating strike, and I've got just enough time here to comfortably enjoy the double strike, and now we have a 500-point lead. Hell yeah. So this ship, god, it can really do some work, but I find it to be horribly susceptible to just getting rolled when it's bottom tier, or even, you know, mid tier. If it's not top tier, I really don't feel like this is a very good ship, but we'll get to that in a bit more of an in-depth discussion when I finally get around to doing the Admiral Hipper overview. Now this was this was fun. My gearing versus another gearing right off the start of the match here on what the hell is this? Sea of Fortune? I don't even know the new maps names at all, even though this one's been around for quite, well, not terribly long. I'm fully anticipating torps coming in, right? So I'm keeping my bow towards him as much as I can while keeping as many of my guns on him as I can. And look at this. There's no way in hell I'm going to dodge this. Say what? And then I get the kill while he's in the smoke. I made that look like I knew what I was doing. I really didn't. I just charged these torps. But let's take a look again from a different angle. Yeah, that made this whole match worth it. And I actually survived this match too. Charged right at the enemy team too. But there's... oh, holy shit. There's no margin for error on that at all. And this is a fat little ship too. I was... That blew me away. I had no idea how the hell that happened. And unfortunately, I haven't been able to recreate that since. And don't get me wrong, I've had good matches in the gearing since that, but none quite as exciting. And I am just working on building up the captain on that, and once I get that done and play a few more matches with it, then I will go ahead and start producing the gearing overview for you guys to discuss and view. So it's the 4 of us versus the world here, myself, Raltus, and Freyr, all of us in our Scharnhorst, because this was so much damn fun running 3 Scharnhorst. There is an Aoba in front of us, there's a battleship behind us too, I just can't remember what it is, but they have like a Miyoko, there's a Nuremberg, Pensacola, Colorado, a pair of Scharnhorst, and there's actually a Minakaze that's just a couple sectors over to our right, and that's right on cue. We got the Minakaze torps there. So you can say goodbye to this Aoba right there. Kind of sucks, but oh well. And now we're just kind of wondering what the hell we're supposed to do. So there's a combination of a few things going on here. I mean, obviously the 3 of us working together on comms, it's like we have the better chance of doing focus fire, or at least to a degree. Like we can commit to saying that, hey, we're going to shoot this target, that target, whatever. But we don't really follow through on killing a few of these ships as fast as we could have. So I Citadel the Miyoko, and remember the Citadel damage for a Scharnhorst is only 7,600, so getting another 5,000 damage on top of that is really nice. That's, you know, that's a good solid salvo, and unfortunately you just don't get enough of those. But boom, got another couple hits there. Send torps at the Scharnhorst that's closing in on, I think it's Freyr, and this is interesting because I'm not expecting those torps to hit, but I'm trying to get him, the enemy Scharnhorst that's closer to Freyr, to turn to, or to stay bow forward, whatever gives Freyr the best chance of getting the hell out of there. And in this case, it kept him bow forward, which allowed Freyr to make that turn he needed to make so he could get out of there and be in a position to better defend against the incoming torpedoes that the Scharnhorst is undoubtedly launching right there. So I nailed the Nuremberg as well, and now I'm trying to get this guy off of Freyr's ass. Of course, I don't do very much damage at all. More torpedoes are coming in from the Minakaze, who is now dead ahead, and trying to finish off the Scharnhorst. There we go. So now there's only a few cruisers we gotta contend with here, and there goes one. Switch over to the enemy Aoba. We just lost Raltus, unfortunately, and now I gotta watch out for incoming torps. So, again, unfortunately, Scharnhorst dispersion kicks in and prevents me from doing much of anything to the Aoba, and now I gotta deal with this guy here. So I want to obviously keep pulling away. I launch my fighter to try to give me a heads up on any of the torps from the Minakaze while I engage the Scharnhorst. So I dump a real solid salvo AP against the Scharnhorst for 11,552, and sure enough, there's the torps from the Minakaze. And this guy, like the second he has torps ready, he's very clearly launching them and getting his fish in the water as fast as possible. Now, I figured I was going to be able to outrun them, and thankfully they just dissipated. But the last salvo didn't do a damn thing against the enemy Scharnhorst. I just disabled one of his turrets momentarily, and he's still on fire, taking some damage there at least. So I know that at some point I'm going to be able to go ahead and make this maneuver and hopefully try to catch the Minakaze off guard. And that's what I'm really going after right now, because I've got to find him to be able to make sure that we're all good here, that we don't have anybody getting devastating strikes on them, that sort of thing. So he ends up being right ahead of me, and I launch my starboard side torps, and I still have my guns trained elsewhere. So that way I can see what kind of damage I can do before I fully commit to engaging the enemy Minakaze, which now my secondaries are working on him. So I fired off at the Pensacola, and Scharnhorst being Scharnhorst, nothing happens. So naturally I walk right into the Torps though, and that's okay. I switched over to HE in preparation for this, and I'm able to catch him here, wait for him to turn a bit, bring my rear turret around, and boom. Get some nice damage there with my main battery, and finish him off with my secondaries. Few things are more satisfying to me than secondary builds, especially with the Scharnhorst, the Gneisenau, now the Bismarck, and just wait till you see what I've got in store for you guys with some of the matches I've had lately, my god. But Sunday I will be doing a giveaway stream, and it's a combination of things to give back to you guys for the YouTube milestone, Twitch milestone, and also my personal milestone with my birthday being on Saturday. Might as well celebrate them all together. But thanks for watching today, guys. Look forward to your comments down below, and I'll see you back here soon. Take care.